Well, like I said, this is Michelle Johns from Decatur, Illinois, and tonight I get to introduce the speaker. Like I told you guys, it's been about a decade of Mondays of me getting on this call. And what I want to do is I want to introduce you to a man who actually personally mentored me. He's grown teams of over 20,000, 30,000 people all around the world. And he's an awesome family man. And you guys also know that he is the Asia Master Distributor, my friend and mentor, Mr. Jimmy Ezzell. Are you there, Jimmy?
I'm here, Michelle. Can you hear me loud and clear?
Loud and clear. Excited to hear you. Go right ahead.
Awesome. Thank you so much for hosting the call tonight. And we got a great call lined up for everybody. And Michelle, thank you for always just bringing the energy and what you guys are doing. I saw you guys. I saw you not only rank advance, but also climb the charts for the new Punta Cana contest. And you know, just so proud of all the things you're doing. So thank you for hosting the call. And ladies and gentlemen, you want to follow suit with her, but you know, I'll go ahead and start it off. We are right in the middle of a contest, a Punta Cana contest, and I was talking to one of our leaders today about that trip. That it is a great, you know, basically a benchmark, a barometer for literally your run to Diamond. You know, with the Diamond retreat coming up in October at the Aria Hotel in Las Vegas. If any of you have your sights on Diamond, use the Punta Cana trip as a great barometer for that. Because if you're winning that trip, if you're doing the things that you're supposed to be doing, and people in your team are winning that trip, then that is going to set you up to be able to hit that Diamond rank and be at that exclusive first time ever retreat there in Las Vegas. So make sure that you pay attention to that, watch the standings. You've got you know, plenty of time here, about 3 months, to make sure you qualify for that trip at the end of August. And so excited for so many people. I believe there's going to be hundreds of people that will actually qualify for that trip. And so when you go into the back offices and you see, you know, there's only like 50 names, don't get discouraged. Don't worry about any of that. The bottom line is that when you get the email from the company that says you have qualified for the trip, that's the most important thing. I don't know. Hopefully they change that so it shows everybody that's going, but I'm sure they will. But you know, just keep pushing hard and staying plugged in. I want to kind of start the call off tonight. Before I go into some training, I want to just kind of share what happened in the last week. Personally, I was just came back from you know, an extended stay actually out in the Los Angeles area. I worked with two of our growing groups out there. One led by superstar Esther Bartos. Many of you know that name. She's her and Linda are pearls in our company. And they've been leading a very growing, very fast-growing Korean-American team out there. They've got, of course, some Filipinos in that group. They've got some Japanese in that group as well, but a very predominantly Asian team that just is really doing great works. And had the opportunity to spend some time with them. I want to share with you some of the things I learned from that team. Then also I got to work with a new team, a brand new team that Michelle Rogers has brought in. Jay Nakata's group and Young Kim's group, and also Luis Kim as well. Those three leaders lead that new team, brand new to our industry. And you know, it's very interesting. There was definitely some characteristics, some characteristics, and also some personalities and some habits that I picked up. And the reason why they're winning so quickly, and the reason why they're you know, growing so fast. From both of these teams, and you know, if you're on this call, this is our Monday Night Leadership call. I want you to know that these calls on Monday nights, you definitely want to take notes. We're going to deliver some nuggets every single Monday night. If you've been paying attention, you know, we bring our very best on these calls. We want to give you the very best that we're learning in the field, but also through tens of thousands of hours and within all the leaders that are on this call that teach and train. So let me share with you some things that I learned just from these two groups. You know, first of all, both of these groups, you know, let me start with Esther. You know, I spent some time with their group, and one of the key things that I picked up is really the speed of the team and the speed of the leader. And one thing about Esther Bartos' mindset, which absolutely just kind of blew me away. You know, there's, you know, in network marketing, if you've been in it for a while, you're going to know you have some ups and downs. You're going to have some things that could very easily get you distracted. But one of the things I love about her is her positive attitude through it all. No matter what's going on in her group, whether whether somebody complaining about a product, or this, or maybe someone didn't show up for an event, or they didn't do what they're supposed to do. Her attitude was absolutely incredible, and her attitude about her Sozo business has been with her for many, many years, decades of years. Here's a lady that literally is now 63 years old, and making her biggest legacy run, in her business career. And her attitude of just being able to weather through all the things that you go through in this business, it proves that she's got her mindset right. Right? She's doing the work. They work nonstop. Many nights, we wouldn't get done till 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning, and get back up and as soon as breakfast was done, get back right at it the next day. You go over to Jay Nakata's group and Young Kim's, and here's a brand new group. Just really, literally, we went out there to start to train them. It's funny. I was in the meeting with all of them, and I was talking to all these people that came to the meeting, and said, what's amazing is this just goes to show you don't have to know everything to get started. All right. And here's a group that literally, I was misinformed. I thought they were a bunch of professional. That been in the industry, had a lot of experience. That was misinformation. We had to go out there and train them, and had a 6-hour training marathon so they could really understand how to build the business. Basically, it was like a super Saturday. Turned into from a 2-hour training to a 6-hour training because they just were sponges of all the information, and now they're up and ready and running. But once again, here's a group that brand new, doesn't know everything, but just getting after it, going to work, passionate about the products and the opportunity that we offer. And so there was just things that really inspired me as somebody that's been around for a while, for 12 years in this industry, to watch these two totally separate teams, go out there and build. I got to see Daniel Kim do a presentation, and the so articulate and professional, and also added some humor. And I was like, that is here's a gentleman, a younger guy that just knows how to present and communicate very effectively. He's been working on his skill set. And so when you get on these calls on Monday nights, when you get on some of the other calls that we offer through this system here at Sozo, I want you to be encouraged to pay attention. I want you to be encouraged to watch your top leaders, watch people that are doing great things, but watch them more intently than you ever have. Because even 12 years in this industry with, tens of thousands of hours of being in this industry, I picked up on things that I love to be inspired by, but also to implement my business, right? And so when you're on these calls, ladies and gentlemen, when you're on a Monday night leadership call, make sure that you're giving 100%. Don't be trying to multitask. This is you time. This is your education time. This is the stuff that can take your business, one nugget, literally, could add an extra, several thousands of dollars a month to tens of thousands of dollars extra a month for your business long term, right? And so, I'm just excited about what's going on within the whole entire Sozo community. We know that Meridian's going to hit this week, and we're going to see our teams get, probably feel better than they ever have. And so it's very, very exciting where this company's at. From a global standpoint, where we got, I was talking to Paul Odom today to make sure you're on the call tonight. Just stay plugged in, because the company is fast changing. There's just lots of things going on, and this is the time in this company where, this year will be a cornerstone year. This will be a benchmark year that people will look back and say, 2015 was when Sozo really started their launch, and they made their run into momentum, for several years out. And so lots of things going on. So tonight what I want to do is, I kind of threw it out there for everybody. I want to talk to you tonight about what I call the disease failure, the number one disease failure, right? And you guys think, you know what the word disease is, right? It's something that's, it can be very bad for people, right? And I want to talk about a disease that can literally creep into your business. Okay? It can creep into your business and knock you out of the game, right? It's a mental disease that can keep you from being successful, not only in your business, but also in life in general, okay? And you're going to study people If you want to really understand what network marketing is, it's not always about just the products and the compensation plan or the opportunity. It's also about people, and I believe it's mostly about people, really understanding people. You're going to discover that unsuccessful people, all right, they suffer from this mind-deadening thought disease that I'm going to talk to you about tonight, okay? This disease, if you got a pen and paper, you want to probably write this down, is what we call Excusitis. Okay, it is the number one disease failure. I'm going to cover several points on this tonight, right? But I want to talk to you tonight about Excusitis. Okay, you know, if you look at the numbers from the census and you look at incomes in this country, you know, we talk a lot about the 95 percenters, the 5 percenters, or the 3 percenters. And see, you know, I can tell you right now, the 3 percenters, the 5 percenters in this company, they don't let Excusitis creep in. Okay, and even this disease, this Excusitis, there's also advanced forms of it. All right, people can when I go through some of these, some people use multiple forms of Excusitis in terms of why they're not successful. All right. And most average people, and even sometimes those top earners, will have a mild case of it. And tonight what I want to do is I want you to be very aware of it as a leader, but I want you to be very aware of it as a leader for your teams as well. Okay, this is part of leadership in helping myself and you as we grow together, is to help set expectations, right? To know what you're going to experience, how to get around it, how to handle it. And Excusitis is going to be part of your business. Okay? See, the 5 percenters are less inclined to make excuses. But the people who go nowhere, they have no plans for getting anywhere, they've always got a full book of reasons why things don't work. See, people with mediocre accomplishments are very quick to explain why they haven't got this, why they don't, why they don't get to do this, or why they can't do this, and why they aren't here, or why they're not at the rate advancement, whatever it may be. They always have these excuses. And you're going to find out that the very top leaders in our business, they can make the same exact excuses as someone who doesn't build the biggest of businesses. However, they just don't. The thing about Excusitis is there's a lot of people that are going to use their health. I'm going to talk about this time. They're going to use their age. I'm going to talk about that. They might use their children, their busy schedules, maybe their upbringing to try to validate why they're not succeeding. And like any disease, Excusitis can get worse if it isn't treated properly. See, a victim of this thought disease goes through this mental process of like, I'm too young, or maybe I'm too old to build this business. I've got these health issues that make me tired, or, I'm just not as good as a presenter as they are. Or I don't have this huge warm market, or I live out in the sticks, out in the country, okay? And once this person finds what he or she thinks is a good excuse, it becomes embedded deeper within their subconscious, and they don't even know it. See, thoughts, positive or negative, grow stronger when focused upon. So when someone starts to make these excuses, right, they're going to use these things, and subconsciously it grows because they focus in on it. At first, the person knows it's their alibi. Maybe it's less of a lie, but the more frequently they repeat it, the more convinced they become that it's completely true, that alibi is the real reason for them not having the business they could have. So what you want to do, if you're going to go build the biggest of businesses, is you've got to program your thinking like what a top leader would do, and basically vaccinate yourself, all right, against Excusitis, this failure disease. I'm going to talk to you about it tonight. I want to share with you tonight some of the most common forms of Excusitis that you're going to face as a leader, all right? And some of you listening tonight might be using some of these excuses every day yourselves, okay, instead of going out there and building yourself, a massive solo business, right? Because now is the time to go do that. Let's talk about the first one. We're in a health and wellness company. For the most part, right, we've got incredible health and wellness products, and you're going to hear people use health excuses Excusitis for reasons why they don't be successful. Okay, very interesting. I had the opportunity to talk to Rick Goltz today, and I don't know if you guys know his story. He's got an unbelievably great attitude. Be praying for him tomorrow. He goes in. He's got a back surgery tomorrow, like a fusion surgery. It's going to be about a 4-hour surgery. Now, folks, here's a gentleman that 2 years ago was supposed to have his back surgery. He had his back surgery, and during the time, he's had a mild heart attack. He's had a triple bypass, like in the hospital for about 10 days. And then, while waiting for another back surgery, now it's finally happening tomorrow. But through it all, he's had an unbelievable, incredible attitude about his health. Okay, you're gonna find out that health excusitis can go all the way from the chronic, I don't feel good, to more, and I've got this wrong with me and that wrong with me, and these kind of people, right? And being part of a health and wellness company, promoting like a healthier lifestyle, you're going to inevitably, run across people, and they're going to share their health issues and concerns with us. Okay? This excuse is an easy one to use because most people will agree with that person about their health issue and feed their excuse even more. However, I want you to start to think about people like Rick Goltz, right, that have had health issues that continue to go and rise to the top, build their businesses. Okay, think about this. We've had presidents like Franklin D. Roosevelt, okay, who could have used his lifeless legs as an excuse. All right? Many of you, if you saw my Facebook post a couple of days ago, I posted one about Nick Vujicic, the gentleman that has no arms or no legs. And I posted, an incredible testimony, a YouTube video about his testimony. And this just goes to show you, here's someone with no arms, no legs, and literally lives a life, just an incredible lifestyle, travels the world, married to a beautiful woman, and just lives an abundant life. And he could have very easily used his situation for having no arms, no legs, and to be use those what some people might call handicaps, right? But he calls it it's to his benefit, basically, right? See, if you have a health issue or handicap, don't focus on it. Looking for or focusing on illnesses or handicaps can actually make it worse. There's a book out there, How to Live 365 Days a Year by Dr. Shim. And he states that 3 out of 4 hospital beds are occupied with people that have what we call EII, emotionally induced illness, right? That's right. They got ill from not being able to handle their emotions, right? I want to encourage you, to have this philosophy that I'm going to resolve to live until I die. Just like, Franklin D. Roosevelt, just like Nick Vujicic. I love hearing people's stories when they, in our group, they're getting ready to have surgery, they're laying in bed, recuperating, whatever it may be, and they're still making calls. They're going into surgery, handing out business cards, right? See, this is the kind of attitude that you've got to have towards your health, right? No matter how bad it may be, okay? Keep this in mind. This is one of the things that I personally, from a health standpoint, you've got to have good attitude about it. Okay, there's 4 things I want you to think about that you can do to beat health excusitis. Number 1, refuse to talk about your health. The more you talk about an ailment, the worse it seems to get. It's like putting fertilizer on weeds. Success-minded people defeat those natural tendencies to talk about their bad health. Most of us don't even like being around people that are always talking about or complaining about the bad health. You know the kind of people I'm talking about. They're always sick. I have someone in my family. Everyone talks about her, always talking about how unhealthy she is. You don't even want to be around it, right? So refuse to talk about your health. Number 2, refuse to worry about your health. This will make your situation even get worse. Live life. Don't worry. For some of you on faith, right? People of faith, that one verse in the Bible says, a saying that says, don't worry about anything, pray about everything. Okay? Don't worry about everything. Just pray about everything. Right? Number 3, be grateful that your health is as good as it is. Right? This is a powerful vaccination against developing new aches, pains, and real illness because a lot of it can be emotionally induced. And remember this, it's better to wear out than to rust out. Life is yours to enjoy, ladies and gentlemen. Don't waste it. Don't pass up living by thinking yourself into a hospital bed. Right? So the first excusitis, health excusitis, right, is one that you've got to just remember, keep in check. Right? Don't go out there and make it worse for yourself. The second excusitis is intelligent excusitis. Intelligent excusitis. This is the one that many people actually keep to themselves. Okay? People don't want to admit that they feel like they lack brains, or they might not have the knowledge to build a big business, or be successful in life. But unfortunately, most people make 2 basic errors regarding intelligence. The first one is this: we underestimate our own brain power. And the second one is we overestimate the other person's brain power. Because of these errors, most people sell themselves short. They fail to take on challenges that could help expand their business. Okay? They feel like they might not have enough knowledge of the products or the business building side to go out and share the program with others. They'll say things like, I'm not as smart as Mark Petchel or Wayne Toppler in business. Right? And remember, what you lack in knowledge for in activity, right? What you lack in knowledge and skill, you can make up for in activity. Why is it that someone can come right into sozo, no knowledge or industry, no knowledge in the industry, no experience in the industry, and maybe not even that tons of knowledge in the product, right? And go out and sponsor people in the first 24 hours and get their 2 preferred customers. Like a group like Jay Nakata and Kim, they're excited. They're just going out there and doing it, right? They don't have to know everything. It's not how much intelligence you have, but how you use what you do have. See, the thinking that guides your intelligence is much more important than how much intelligence you may have. All right? I want you to think about a few people. You might know these names. Tom Cruise, severely dyslexic. Right? How about Walt Disney? Had a learning disability. President Woodrow Wilson, severely dyslexic again. Okay? Albert Einstein, another one with learning disability. George Washington, a learning disability, could barely write and have poor grammar skills. Do you think they let their intelligence get in the way of them becoming successful and becoming literally, creating legacies, in history? Right? How about the story of Henry Ford? In the Chicago Tribune, they were talking about Henry Ford. They were trying to prove that he was an ignoramus, okay? That he wasn't very smart. And the Tribune kept asking him all these questions about history, and Henry Ford didn't have a formal education, so he didn't really know the answers. However, he responded that he didn't know the answers to those questions, but could find a man in 5 minutes that does. The point being that you too don't have to know all the answers before going out and building your business. You can plug into the system that's in place, right? Without having to know everything, you can earn while you learn. Remember, we've got an incredible back office that you can point people to get started. We've got the S3 system that was created by A.J. Adams and the corporate team. We've got a system of opportunity calls and webinars that you can plug people into. You've got these leadership calls that you can plug people into. All right? You can go out there with your success team leaders, your sponsors, and you can host mixers and parties and send out samples and do demos and let the products sell themselves. Okay? Remember, we've got a system in place to the success vault of trainings that we have, in our Facebook pages and our private Facebook groups, and get those trainings. All right? Don't let intelligence excusitis, that thinking that you're not smart enough, keep you from going out and building a great business. 3 ways to cure intelligence excusitis. The first one is this: never underestimate your own intelligence and never overestimate the intelligence of others. Don't sell yourself short. Okay? Focus on your strengths and remember to use your personal business coaches, experience, get counsel to help you move through, the knowledge that you need faster, right? Use those coaches with their experience. Get counsel from them and be in agreement on the important decisions for your business. When to launch, what are the most important trainings that you need to be on? What events should you be going to? How much should you be investing back into your business? Okay? Use your sponsors and your coaches for that. Number 2, remind yourself several times daily, my attitudes are more important than my intelligence. Attitude is everything. Be positive. Stay focused on the major things instead of the minor things. You've got to have a winning attitude. And number 3, remember that the ability to think is of much greater value than the ability to memorize facts. Be creative. Get better at your skills. Learn to master the system, those 7 skills that we talk about, and learn to master the social system so you can help collapse time frames and teach it. Okay? The third excusitis is money excusitis. Right? What is money excusitis? That's when people say they just don't have the resources to go build. I'm going to share with you a few names, see if if you know any of these people. How about Halle Berry? She was homeless and lived in shelters in her 20s. How about Jim Carrey? Lived in a Volkswagen camper van. Susie Orman, the financial guru. She lived in a van for 4 months back in 1973. Now, of course, multimillionaire. Chris Gardner. Many of you have seen the movie The Pursuit of Happiness, right? He was homeless, living with his young son, now multimillionaire. How about Jewel, the famous singer? Homeless for about a month. Michael Orr, if you watch The Blind Side, here's a guy that lived on the streets and became a professional football player. Jennifer Lopez, J-Lo, right? Slept on a sofa for a few months as she started to get her career going. Steve Harvey, you know his story. Lived in a 1976 Ford Tempo for 3 years before he got his break. How about Drew Carey, homeless, selling plasma for $40, right? See, folks, it's not necessarily about the resources, having the money to go do a business. It's about being resourceful. And what I love about the business model that we're involved in today is that you can work hard. Many of you know you can get started in business with Soza for less than $2,500. You can get even started as low as $99 without any products. I wouldn't necessarily encourage it, but even if someone had to get started, they could, right? One of the things I like to talk to people about is being creative to build your business. We have people that will go bring 4 of those basic packs in. They have no money. Maybe a single mom that's barely getting by, but she wants it and she's hungry. Bring us 4 basic pack apps, and we'll help you get started. I've heard leaders do that for people. Get creative. Use the creative side of your mind to make things happen. And share these with other people so they use the creative side, not to let money get in the way. She's on the Secret Millionaire now. I mean, when she first started, ladies and gentlemen, she was a broke cocktail waitress, had, I think, like $2.03 in her bank account. She was homeless, living out of her car. Now, of course, she owns 5 successful businesses and is a multi-millionaire. And she started that weight loss company out of Hawaii. And of course, if you're in the industry, she's one of the best in terms of training and, homeless. She didn't let money excusitis get in the way of her being successful. Okay? Majority of the entrepreneurs that get started have very little capital, right? To launch their businesses. They didn't, they started with a shoestring budget. And they will go out there, but because they were determined, they figured it out. I can tell you right now, there's many of us on this call. There'll be days, and you'll hear the stories of what it took for us to get to where we are and to where people are going to get, from in terms of them being successful. One of my good friends, Michelle Johns, literally no money, many times in the very beginnings of her career, would go to events, walk miles, take the bus, whatever it would be, for her to get to events. She didn't let money excusitis get in the way. Majority of the entrepreneurs, they start with very little. Think about Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak. You know those names, right? Of Apple. 1976, they started that company in their parents' garage. They had hardly any money, and they definitely had no venture capital, investors get that company started. And of course, you guys know the rest is history. Why am I sharing this with you? Because sometimes you or somebody in your team or somebody looking to join this business will use money excusitis, right? For them not to get started, for them not to go full out, to go build themselves something successful. See, that's the American dream, is to be an entrepreneur and, to be able to have the time freedom and the money freedom. And we've got an incredible vehicle where people can get literally started for hardly any money and go build themselves an incredible income. The next one is called age excusitis. Okay? This is commonly used by people that will say things like, I'm just too old. Jimmy, I'm way too old to be doing this. Or I'm too young, to be getting started. The younger generation says things like, all my friends are too young, to have money for these products. Or we'll have people in the older generation that'll say something like, I missed it. I missed that opportunity. Jimmy, I'm way too old to get started. But I want to remind people of two things. The first one is the retire under 30 movement. This is for anyone who hasn't bought into that job mentality, that believes that they don't have to wait to be, 60 or 65 to retire. Remember, the only people setting the retirement age are the people who are buying your time. Remember we talked about this? Don't let other people buy your time. Don't let them set the retirement age for you. You set the retirement age whenever you want to retire. Right? I mean, look at some of our younger generation that we have, the retire under 30 movement. We've got people like, Christian Lowe, Chelsea Lingle, Chika O. How about Joshua Colon? These younger generation people are ready to go out there and build themselves a great business. Not waiting around. Not letting someone else dictate, their when they can retire. Go find some of these people that aren't letting age excusitis get in the way. The older generation, it's never too late to get started on leaving a lasting legacy. And we get to hear some of these people on the calls, the Jim Carters of the world, the Bob Avila, or Janet Dow, or Shirley Parrish, Appella, all these little bit people that are maybe a little bit older, building the business, right? And still, they've got that fire to go out there and leave a legacy. I want you to think about these figures. Most people are productive from age 20 to 70 years of age. Okay, that's 50 years of productivity. Even if you started at age 40, that still gives you 30 productive years, over 50% of your life still ahead of you. See, I'm thinking about that. I'm 42. I still have 30-some years of productivity. Can you imagine 30 years with a company, the fortune that you could make? Right? Even if you started at 30 years, you'd have 50 productive years left for 80% of your life. Even if you were 50, you still have 20 productive years left or 40% left. Think about that. Colonel Sanders started the KFC franchise when he was 65 years old. Remember earlier in the call I told you about Esther Bartzel, 63, building her legacy. See, you can't let age excusitis get in the way. All right, so what's the cure for age excusitis? Number one, look at your present age. Think, I'm still young, not I'm already old. Think I have the ability to be able to retire under 30 while others my age will still be working while I'm playing on the beaches of the world already. For you younger generation, be thinking like that. Number two, remember the real percentages of years you still have ahead of you. You're in a health and wellness company. Let's stay healthy and go have fun and travel the world and work. See, life is actually longer than most people think. Number three, invest future time in doing what you really want to do. See, it's only too late when you let your mind go negative and think it's too late. Stop thinking I should have started years ago. Your best years are ahead of us right now, ahead of you right now. Okay? Remember, you don't have to be great to get started. You just have to start to become great. Do not let your age dictate you being successful here at Ezzell. Age excusitis. The next one that I want to talk to you about is time excusitis. The 5 deadliest words in this industry are, I don't have the time. This is the one that many people will use because they feel like there's just not enough time in a day. Statements like, our family schedule is too hectic for me to build this business. It's just not the right time for me to work the business, right? I run out of time to show people the business. You're going to hear these types of excuses. The reality is this: every single one of us has the exact 24 hours of every day to use. Because of our system, the tools, your personal business coaches, you can work this business very part-time even, 5 to 15 hours a week until you replace your income or achieve your goals. If you go out there and just show this program, show the 4 presentations a week. If you have a 4 presentations a week philosophy, you could work 8 to 12 hours a week and be consistent, and over time, you'll be able to go full-time. See, people will use this time excusitis, and one of the things that they'll do is, especially if they're in a family, right, you've got children, you've got kids, because this is probably one of the biggest things. When I came in the industry 12 years ago, I had a young family. And, of course, I attracted a lot of those type of people in, right, younger families and people that were, double income type of families with kids. And so what ended up happening is I heard this excuse a lot. People would use their kids as an excuse, and their kids' schedules as an excuse, soccer games and volleyball games and cheer and all these things. See, you should use your kids as an inspiration, not as an excuse. Build the business so you can stay at home with them and be able to spend more time with them, be at their events, take more family vacations, and truly enjoy them while they're growing up, okay? Instead of, watching TV or playing games on Facebook or Xbox, whatever it may be, instead of doing those things, work your business. Instead of going to bed at 10 o'clock, go to bed at 11 o'clock, right? Stay up an hour later. Go, get up an hour earlier to work your business. If you're at a job, instead of taking that 30-minute or hour for lunch with your coworkers who are committed to staying in their jobs while you're trying to become an entrepreneur, you know what? Skip those lunches and go pack yourself a nice lunch, eat quickly, and make calls during your lunch. I've seen people be able to go full-time. This is one of the things I did when I was in corporate America. They would work their businesses during their breaks and their lunch breaks. See, that's your commitment to you building your business. Remember what Jim Rohn talks about. Work full-time on your job and part-time on your fortune. Many of you are going to have to work your jobs, and it's perfectly fine. I was just coaching someone in our group that she got it. She had to go get a job, and I said, be proud of that. Work your job. You'll learn the skill of time management. You'll learn how to be more productive in the 1 to 3 hours that you put in your business. Okay? You'll learn that skill now, and then so when you go full-time, you'll have that skill already in place. Because, see, someone that learns the skill of being able to put 1 to 3 hours in their business can equate to 5 to 8 hours of someone else because they're very efficient. They're very effective. But don't let time excusitis get in the way of you not going out there and showing the plan, building the business, and creating that fortune that you're looking for. The next and last excusitis we'll talk to you about is what I call geographic excusitis. This is one that I've heard people say things like, you know what, Jimmy, where I live down here, it's different. People just don't have the money down here. Or, you know what, people down here are different. I want to share something with you. I'm going to be very, very direct. I've traveled the world. I've been in developed countries. I've been in third world countries. Right? I've traveled the U.S., wealthy parts of the U.S. to poor parts of the U.S. I can tell you right now, people are people. They still have desires for a better life. They still have a desire for an improved lifestyle. It's not the area that you live in, it's you. I'll take this to the bank any day because I've heard people go round and round with me on this. All right? But you just don't understand our market down here. No, you don't understand. It is you. It's not the people there. There's way too many people that have succeeded, especially in network marketing, okay, in many, many parts of this country. You've got to be a better leader to attract people to you that want more in life. That's who you're looking for. It doesn't matter whether you're in Kansas City or Miami or Hong Kong or Knoxville or New York, Seattle, Manila. Montana, Los Angeles or Tokyo. People are still people. And we're looking for those ones who want more out of life. We're looking for those ones who want to change. We're looking for those ones that want freedom. Okay? Another geographic excuse that I hear is, well, Jimmy, I don't have what you and Mark have there in St. Louis or Kansas City. You guys have meetings going on, or, Dennis and Fran, I don't have what you guys have there in Houston with all the meetings going on, or Darwin, what you guys have going on there in Toronto, or Cynthia, what you have going on in Seattle. You'll hear this excuse too. Ladies and gentlemen, you be the leader that steps up in your local market and you get things going. Okay? Michelle Rogers lives in Montana. Folks, it's not the hotbed like a Los Angeles, right? I think the whole state doesn't even have as many people as Los Angeles. And call people. How about Tammy Riggs in Knoxville? Or how about Michelle Johns in Central Illinois? They're not letting their geographic where they live be an excuse. Remember, your success does not depend upon people like Cynthia Simmons or Wayne Toppler or Sally Turner or Laura Bucky or Mark Petchel. You've got to take responsibility for your business. It doesn't matter where you live. Right? As you're building your business, what will end up happening is, as you work on you, as you become a better leader, as you start to attract people to you, you're going to find people like a Gilbert Fontecoba or an Esther Bartos or a Jay Nakata or a Young Kim, maybe a Lindsey Jung. You're going to find those people come in, or Gina Kim, right? You cannot let where you live be an excuse, or let other people where they live be an excuse why they can't go build. Okay? Oprah Winfrey lived in rural Mississippi. She overcame poverty, sexual abuse, her own teenage pregnancy. I don't know if you knew that, but now she's the richest African American, one of the richest African American, in the world. She grew up in a very rural part of Mississippi. Okay. Howard Schultz grew up in Brooklyn, New York. If you don't know his story, in the projects. Purchased and developed Starbucks to the billion-dollar company it is today, now worth over $1 billion. Right? As you can see, there's lots of excuses why not to build your business. You could use any of these Excusitis to keep you from achieving your dreams and goals. You're going to have people that join your teams. They're going to use them. You've got to be aware of it. 1 for yourself and 2 for your teams. Right? All of these excuses will lead to failure. However, you only need 1 good reason why to build your business. See, as leaders or potential leaders, remember this. You can't make any excuses and you can't take any excuses. Not when you're running for diamond or above. Okay? Because you're going to have plenty of obstacles on your way getting there. It's how you handle them that will either promote you or distract you. And letting excusitis into your mindset will cause you not to do the proper activity. So don't accept them and go out there and build the biggest business that you possibly can for you and your family for generations to come. Right? So hopefully this training is helping you out. Hopefully you'll remember that, excusitis can take you out. But I want you to do this. I want you to make the decision tonight to do whatever it takes to get free. I want you to picture where we're going in the next, year, 3 years, 5 years with this company. I mean, I couldn't be more excited. I was, every time I talk to Paul, there's a lot of business, of course, but it just excites me because we're talking about the future, about this company. There's a day literally when we're going to be in so many countries. The Sozo brand, folks, is going to be out there, and if you're not aware of these, the failure disease, it'll sneak up and cause you not to do the work. It'll sneak up in your teams and cause them not to do the work. So you've got to be aware of it. My challenge to you tonight is this. Don't let excusitis, the failure disease, knock you out of the gate. All right? So here's what we're going to do. Let me open up the lines here for some of our leaders. Hit *2 if you could. I see, go ahead and hit *2, and we'll have you jump on and just say a few things. Rick Gold, I think, is our first one. Rick, are you there? hit *2. Yes, is that you, Wayne? Go ahead. Yes, it's me, Jimmy. Thank you so much for wonderful, wonderful training again. I absolutely love it. I just wanted to add a couple things and just remind everybody the great thing about network marketing is you're really only 2 people away from making an absolute fortune. And some of us are going to go through about 50 to 60 people to get there. From my experience in this industry, in this profession over the last 6 years, the top leaders will go and add about 50 or 60 people over a 3 to 4 year period personally. And out of those 50 or 60, you're going to get half of them are going to make, between 500 and 1,000 a month. But you're going to find a couple of them that want more. And you're only 2 people away from making an absolute fortune. And it's going to take some time. You're going to hear some no's. And remember, no's don't mean no. It just means not right now. I'll give you a personal story. In my previous company where I had a massive amount of success over a 4-year period, it didn't start out fast. I had 0 friends and family join me right away. I got on. I became a product of the product, became passionate about it. And I was brand new in the small town of Bakersfield, did not know one single person, but somebody I met at the gym who was very, very busy, who worked 60 or 70 hours a week, but he did know a lot of people. And I made him completely aware of what the opportunity was, and I showed him how much passion I had and how I would be available, how I could put in the time that he doesn't have. And over a 4-year period, this gentleman, we ended up getting a team of well over 100 business partners and over 1,000 customers just here in the small town of Bakersfield from the one person I met at a gym. Now, the great thing about network marketing also is this is a great friend of mine, one of my closest friends here in town, and I met him and we built that relationship through network marketing. And he went on to having to work 60 or 70-hour work weeks. And I could tell you, his 3rd year in the business, I saw him probably 6 or 7 times the entire year. And the guy made over $20,000 that year because I put in the time. You guys all have, everyone on this call has a success team that'll put in the time to develop leaders that you introduce us to. So just remember, you're only 2 or 3 business partners away. Some people, it takes 40 or 50 people over a 3-year period, 4-year period to find those. And some people, I had a person in the Midwest, I've never seen anything like it before. She found her 2 superstars by bringing on 7 personal people over a couple-year period. She went on to make, over $20,000 or $30,000 as a stay-at-home mom that never had success before, and she only brought in 8 or 9 people during those 2 years. But she found 2 hungry people that we were willing to work with. That's what we have our hands on. Remember, you're first to market these products in your entire marketplace. You're the first to bring the world's healthiest coffee, and right now we have Meridium, which nobody in your warm market knows. I highly recommend everybody having a mixture this week as your Meridium gets in and treat it like the golden ticket. When the people brought Mona Vita, Save Berry to the marketplace, I never heard of it. I missed that boat, and I'm so excited to bring Meridian to the marketplace. I personally, one of my very best friends in the world right now, made $1 million in Mona V. And he did that by helping about 40 or 50 families make over $10,000 or $20,000 over a couple-year period. He was brand new. He was a dad of 5. 2 of them type 1 diabetes. He's my closest friend on the planet right now that I met in network marketing, and he got to bring a product to the marketplace. He introduced the world to Save Berry, and it went on to create hundreds and hundreds of families making 6-figure incomes. We're the first to market this. Keep that in mind. Go out and market it with passion. You have the greatest opportunity that we've ever seen with all of our product line and worldwide exclusivity. Back over to you, Jimmy.
Awesome, Wayne. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that. And man, Wayne, you hit it right on the head. We are the first to market, and I love that we are 2 to 3 people away from this explosion. Thanks, Wayne. Real quickly, out of Montana, Michelle Rogers, go ahead.
Hey, Jimmy, can you guys hear me okay?
We can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, awesome. I just want to thank you for being such a real person. you don't sugarcoat it, and I love that because I don't respond personally. I don't respond well to sugarcoating. And when somebody challenges me or puts it out there and says, that's the lamest excuse I've ever heard, Michelle. Come on. It makes me realize that I am making excuses. And, and sometimes they're good excuses. But nonetheless, they're still an excuse. And when I check those excuses at the door, wow, I start having success. And I start seeing things come to fruition. But I can't do that until I check those excuses at the door and leave them there. And I just want to thank you, Jimmy, for just being real with us and just saying, hey, guys, don't make excuses. Don't accept your handicap. Don't tell yourself that you can't do this or you can't do that. And believe in yourself. I truly believe that's part of the reason that I'm able to have success is because I have a leader who believes in me. And I want you guys all to know that we all believe in you guys. We believe in you more than you believe in yourself. And once you start to believe in yourself, you're going to start having success as well. So, Jimmy, that was just the main thing. I just wanted to thank you for just, not being a sugar-coated leader and just really, letting us have it and hear it straight. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Michelle. Appreciate those kind words, and just keep doing what you're doing. You guys are doing great out there. Who else? Star 2. Just a couple more. Michelle Johns, you want to add anything to this call?
Hey, I'm here, sure. I'm going to just say something quickly. One thing I want to say is it's kind of crazy how life goes. I just actually listened to a sermon over the weekend while I was driving to baseball that had to do exactly with this, and it was talking about how in life, a lot of times what we do is we focus on being shortchanged. We give somebody a $100 bill, we feel like we're only getting 60 back. We have all these excuses in the world about why we can't do things. You personally know that everything that you talked about tonight, at one time or another while you were mentoring me, I had every single one of those. And I think what everybody on those, I have, it's true. We have to be honest. And so what we have to do is, are we sick sometimes? Absolutely. Do we have, illnesses? Or do we have time frames that we can't always meet? The thing is, though, is as you start to go along, even these excuses are part of your training and part of your development. So I want everybody on the line to understand that, believe me, I'm still working on some of these. We all do at times. And I just think it was an amazing training because of that. It's an amazing training because we all feel like in some way or another we've been shortchanged in life. But once you start to let go of that, you just embrace it. I want to give a shout-out to Sharon Pullman. I just brought her in the business about 30 days ago. She's number 1 on the list of people to get the vacation. She got her fast start bonus. She got her 5 customers in a month. I mean, the thing is this, it's just a matter of just engaging and doing. And she keeps messaging me saying, oh, my God, I can't believe I did that. You guys, we can all do this. We can all do it. So I just want to say thanks, Jimmy, as always, for a great training. Even after 10 years, I always learn something new. So back to you.
Awesome, Michelle. Thank you. Thank you for being honest about that. Yeah, I think it's a genuine, your heart that really shows, and you going through all those excuses that you've had. But folks, I can tell you right now, she doesn't make excuses. She's out there building a great team. So thank you, Michelle. Gilbert Fontecova down in Florida. Go ahead, buddy.
Jimmy, could you hear me?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Wow, what a call. My God, I got goosebumps. I have a whole page full of notes. Thank you so much, Jimmy. Thank you so much. And I'm glad Michelle said that, because now I don't have to be the first, because I feel that a lot of the material you use is also my mistakes. And that's what's so important about talking to your leaders, folks, because you could also help your leaders know where you're struggling, and that way they can help you, and they could also use it on trainings like this. And I know we don't have a lot of time, so I'll share a real quick story. I was talking to one of my team members earlier today, and I tell this person to call me every day. I haven't spoken to this person in a couple of weeks. She shared her bumps that she's having. As soon as she shared them with me, I gave her answers. She says, oh, my God, every time I speak to you, you have an answer for me. And that's what's so important, folks, that you have to stay connected to your leaders and let them know what your struggles are, what's going on. I'll share another quick story with another one. Frank Negron, shout out to him. He did a great move today, and he told me what he was doing, and then he shared with me, and I was able to help him and gave him, and he told me, oh, that was great. thanks a lot. And that's why, folks, you guys got to stay connected to leaders like Jimmy and your upline. So I know we don't have a lot of time. Jimmy, thank you again so much. Wayne, thank you. You covered a lot of the stuff that I wanted to talk about since I don't have a lot of time now. And Michelle John, kudos to you too. God bless you guys. Back to you, Jimmy.
Awesome, Gilbert. Keep rocking down there in Miami. So many people down there that need to be exposed to Meridium and Sozo and all the things that we're offering. Hey, folks, let's go ahead and just blow out these lines on the count of three. Tonight, I want you guys to state your name and say, I'm not making excuses. So sign off saying, this is Jimmy Ezzell, I'm not making excuses, something like that, on the count of three. So 1, 2, 3.
This is Sally. I'm not making any excuses.
This is Wayne Coughlin, no mo excuses. Awesome,
no excuses. Let's get it.
All right, everybody, jump on the corporate call. We'll talk to you in a few minutes. God bless you. Appreciate you guys.